And on the 8th day, God looked down on his planned paradise and said, I need a caretaker. So God made a farmer.
Howdy folks, Darren back with you here at Cross Timbers Farm. Welcome to 8th Day Chronicles. We are continuing our maintenance, wintertime maintenance on our farm equipment. And we just finished up the ATV not long ago, and now we're starting to maintenance our pull behind brush hog or rotary cutter. This is a pull behind model with the engine mounted on the cutter, the mower. It is powered by a 12.5 horsepower Briggs&Stratton engine, and it is a 42-inch rough cut mower. I think we've shown this mower some on some of our other videos of hay fields. We use it to maintain fence rows, to mow parts of our pasture that the goats stay on. It's too steep for haying and too steep for us to even be able to get our tractor on for any type of hay. It's just too steep. So but this thing hugs the ground, and we can pull it behind our ATV and mow these sections off, and it works fantastic. Very good machine. This is an Agri-Fab. It's pretty heavy duty. We pull it with our Honda Foreman 500cc four-wheel drive, and from pulling it on steep terrain, and I think I've shown you some of the steep terrain that we pull this thing on. If our ATV was anything less than 500cc and anything less than four-wheel drive, probably would not pull this thing. It is heavy duty. It's a very heavy machine. It's very well built, and it's served us really well. So we're going to take the time out while it's winter and not much going on in the hay fields and things of that nature, to take time to start servicing our equipment for spring. So when spring rolls around, early summer, and I need to do some fence row mowing or mow off the steep parts of our pasture that we don't cut for hay, then this machine will be ready to roll. All I have to do is just hook to the ATV and pull the start button, and it'll be ready to use. Of course, we always quickly check the dipstick and all that for oil levels and grease and things of that nature on all of our equipment, whether it's been serviced or not. But a quick check just to make sure nothing's changed. But we're going to go ahead and get this bush hog serviced today, so that's done and out of our way. Come hay season and mowing season, we're not scrambling around working on equipment and our hay is getting past prime. We want everything to be ready, serviced, and in excellent condition and ready to go. So let's get started. First thing we're going to do is change the oil. Okay, we've got our bush hog here ready to drain the oil. We've got our oil pan under it, and the plug is been broken loose, the cap. We did put an extension on this, but I wished I'd have put one a little bit longer, but it is what it is. Okay. Alright, it's doing exactly what I thought it would do, so we're just going to put that extension there on it for it to drain, and boy, that oil is dirty. This was a job that needed done. Okay, we do have our oil draining, and these style engines on this Briggs&Stratton 12.5 horsepower, this particular model does not have an oil filter, and because of that, the oil in this engine gets really dirty fast. We changed it early last year, and This is the first time since, and boy, the oil is dirty. It's really needed changed. So I'm glad we're doing this today. It was needful. These are our 2 bucks, our purebred Oberhausley bucks. The one on the left that's turning a little bit sideways, that is our purebred, 100% Oberhausley purebred buck named Wind-Kissed Acres Rodeo. He is ADGA registered as a purebred. And in the pasture with him is our wether, who was once a buck, but we weathered him and kept him for a pasture pal for our buck. And that is Wind-Kissed Indian Outlaw. And Outlaw is really growing, and Rodeo is too. They're both coming in on a year old, not quite. We should have kids. We did put Outlaw in the pasture with our 100% registered Oberhausley doe Mudslide prior to him being castrated and weathered. So we should have kids out of him, even though he is weathered now. Like I said, prior to his being weathered, he was in with Mudslide, and she has not been back in season since. So we're almost sure she did take, and we should have kids on the ground out of Outlaw and Rodeo this coming spring. But they're here in the back pasture, right behind where I'm changing all this oil under the shed, and keeping me company. And there's Oakley laying there watching them and taking her a little bit of a nap. Also, Raven's a little further down in the field. Okay, the oil's draining, and to aid in draining, I could take a floor jack and put in the far back corner of the deck of the mower to give it a tilt toward the drain plug to aid in draining. You know, these smaller Briggs and Stratton motors like this 12.5 horse, it says power built 12.5. This brush hog could probably stand about a 17 horse, and then one of these days I may change to a little bit bigger engine with an oil filter. But for now, it does not have an oil filter, and these little engines, it does not have an oil filter on them. Boy, the oil can get rank really quick in them, get really nasty. And this one was. The oil was in need of being changed. It's pretty rank. It's nasty oil. So we're getting it took care of. Just kind of waiting for the oil to drain, you know. And work on a farm's never done. A small family farm, it's a job every day doing something. And take advantage of this downtime of the winter. We do to get some things done for spring, so you're not scrambling come haying season or mowing season or kidding season or something like that. You're not scrambling trying to get stuff done. Go ahead and pick your days. If you're like me and have to work under a shed, it's not enclosed or something like that, pick your days when the weather's a little more conductive, and get out and start getting your equipment serviced. You know, so is life. It's the same in life. You know, nobody said that farming was easy. If it was, everybody'd be doing it. It's got to be what I like to call a labor of love. You got to like what you're doing, but you got to work at it. You got to have a work ethic, and you got to be willing to get up early and stay up late and get with it and get going. And lots of times for no money. You know, it's part of it. It just is. You got to like what you're doing. You got to enjoy farming. You got to enjoy being a farmer, like being called a farmer. And, we can't just sit around on our haunches and expect God to bless us. We got to be willing to put in the work and meet Him halfway. And, it's that way in life with about everything that I've found, that God's not going to just sit there and pour blessings out on you when all you do is sit on the couch and put forth no effort yourself. You got to be willing, whether it be studies or in your schoolwork or at farming, mowing hay, on your job as an accountant, as a doctor, as a nurse, whatever you do for a living. I firmly believe that God blesses those who first seek Him in all that we do and seek His will. And then when we ask for something, when we talk to God in prayer and we ask for something, we've got to be willing to do our part. We can't just think that He's just going to dump something right into our lap when we put forth no effort whatsoever. The Bible says that a man that won't work and provide for his family has denied the faith and is worse than an infidel. There's nothing wrong with getting some dirt under your fingernails and getting out and getting with it and getting to work and getting up early and staying up late if you need to. However, through your job, whatever your job is, do not let your job consume you, as whether you're a fireman, a police officer, a doctor, a nurse, a farmer. Yes, there's things you have to do and times you have to be there and times you have to be there very long days. But don't let that consume you. Don't forsake your children and your family spending time with them. Make time for that. Somehow, some way, make time for that. It's our duty as moms and dads and stepdads and stepmoms and grandparents. It's our job to be there for our kids, to teach them the way they should go. Teach them work ethic. Teach them the meaning of earning a dollar, what it means to get out and work for it. Don't just hand it to them. God's not going to do that to them, and we shouldn't do it to them. Teach them to work. I'm not saying be a slave driver, but teach your children the benefits of work. What the sweat of the brow, to get out and work, do some physical work, manual work. There's a lot of jobs, where you just sit behind a desk and that's all good and well. I'm not knocking that at all. But prior to someone getting that desk job, growing up, they had to learn some work ethic. Prior to someone getting an administrative job, a desk job, whatever, somewhere down the road they had to earn it with some work ethic. And that may have meant, in a restaurant waiting tables. It may have been, on a highway crew pouring asphalt. Whatever the case may be, work ethic will pay dividends. So teach your children, get up and get at it in the mornings and don't waste their day. God's blessed us with good health and a beautiful place to live, and I think it's our responsibility to get with it, so to speak. That's a term I like to use. I always told my kids when they were growing up, get with it. The day is, the hours of the day is ticking away. Let's get with it and get some stuff done. And, if we honor Him in all that we do, I think He will bless our efforts. Okay, we have put oil into our engine, fresh new oil, and there's no filter to change on this machine, so let's clean our dipstick off really good give it a check. A lot of these engines, and my understanding is, I'm sure there's a lot of guys out there with small engine knowledge, much more than me, so take this for what it's worth. My understanding is these small engines work without an oil pump. What they have is on the crankshaft, they have a part of the crankshaft, it's almost like a cup, and when this crankshaft is turning, it's splashing oil up onto the rods and things of that nature. So it works off of just oil in the pan. When the journals are turning and the lobes on the crankshaft, it splatters the oil up on the rest of the motor or the engine. So if I'm wrong, correct me about that, and it's very possible that I'm wrong. But anyway, we've changed the oil and it's been sitting for 15 minutes or so, and let's check our level, and let it run off the end of the dipstick. It'll still have residue up where the level that it was. Okay, there we go, and we are bingo, we're just a hairline over full. We're good. I mean, just a hair. All right, we've got the ATV oil changed and the filter, and we checked the axle lube in the ATV and the air filter previously. Today we've changed the oil in our Agri-Fab pull behind rough cut mower, and we probably need to sharpen the blades on this, but I'm gonna have to pick a day when the ground's not so soft and make a muddy mess with my tractor to get a chain hooked to this to the machine here and lift it so I can get under it to access the blades. It has swing blades and a stump jumper under there that I need to lift it up to be able to access those blades, to be able to get a file to them, or an angle grinder. I probably should use a file because they're not bad. I've not hit any rocks or anything with it, so, or they shouldn't be anyway. So we'll check that soon, but for now we're done for today because the weather's just not conducive for me to get the tractor out and on this soft wet ground after this freezing and thawing here in our backyard and just make a muddy mess with those ag tires on the tractor. So we'll pick it up and sharpen the blades another day, but for now it has fresh engine oil in it and it's ready to mow. All right, thanks for being with us today. God bless you, and if you haven't, we'd sure appreciate it if you'd like, subscribe to our channel, and we appreciate you being here with us. I pray that y'all have a great evening. God bless.